Hello, and this show has been brought to you by Huey, like that. Spirit of the Panther, written by David Hilliard, a fellow Black Panthers member, and also brought to you by White Tees. People will think you wore it yesterday. Probably, I always struggle with that word. Probably because I did wear this yesterday. I'm not sure, but I think I did. It's okay. But anyway, be the contrarian. Okay, so there's a lot of pressure on us as children, and not too many of us survive this particular pressure. But there's this pressure of fitting in. You know, as you get older. I mean, when you're like, I don't know, 10 and below, 9 and below, something like that, you can run wild and be as weird as you want to be. You know, I mean, you can at any age, but from a societal aspect, as far as your peers go, as far as class and school and all that, you know, oh, run wild, be who you are. Who gives a fuck what people say? Yeah, who gives a fuck? But as you start to get a little older, the pressure starts to build, and what's in is what's in, and if you're not with it, you will get alienated, you'll get teased, mocked, beat up, whatever the fuck. So we start to become very, very shallow, face value people, you know? And I like to think that I was one of those people who survived it, but in the midst of it, I really put a lot of things that I was attracted to on the back burner, you know? Um, so my advice would be to kids coming up is to remain weird. Always gravitate towards your thing. You know, it's nothing wrong with expanding, but never compromise for the sake of somebody else's comfort, for the sake of somebody else's expectations and what's trending. You got to be brave enough to face yourself in the mirror and say, I like what I see, or I don't like what I see. I'm going to run with this, or I'm going to change it because I understand that this isn't working for me. You know, but when we speak of the contrarians, I take a look at what's the norm, what's trending, and I mean, you know, I'm not always turned on, and I don't have to be, okay? You don't have to be turned on. You don't have to involve yourself in conversations. You don't have to be, you don't have to fake like you're interested just so you can fit in. You can literally sit there and not say anything. You can leave. You know, you can let that shit go through one ear, out the other. You can let it go around your fucking head. You can let it go under you. Like, it really doesn't fucking matter, but time does. So don't waste your time trying to engage in things you know you don't give a fuck about. You know, people try to talk to me about the news. People try to talk to me about reality TV or whatever. Psst, yep. I put an end to that right away. I don't even try to act like I'm interested. I will say something that just close the conversation. You know, like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't care about that. No, I don't mess with that. My way of telling people, or I will tell people this, but it's my way of telling people, don't waste your time because I do not give a fuck. Truly, I do not give a fuck. And there's this saying, and I want to say it was Warren Buffett who said this, but I'm not sure. But definitely an investor who said, when everyone is excited, you should be worried. When everyone is worried, you should be excited. And there is no greater example, there possibly is, but a great example is when the markets crash, when the real estate market crashes, and it does. You know, the brutal one back in 2008, people were scrambling, people were worried how, you know, they were forced to sell their houses for pennies on the dollar, things like that. But the people who were just licking their chops, rubbing their hands because they knew it was coming and they saved up the capital for it were the investors. And the investors, you know, they cleaned up, they cleaned house. And the thing about real estate is, I mean, business is always going to be booming. There's always going to be, well, I won't say always be booming, but there will always be a need for a house. And barring whatever may come, um, our population will grow exponentially over the years. I think they said by 2050 we'll have about 10 billion people. They say this world can't even sustain to. Did I say 2 billion people? 12 billion people. 10 billion people. That's the number. 10. 1 and a 0 in that order. 10 billion people. And I don't necessarily believe this, but they say that this world can only sustain about 10 billion people. You know. So, needless to say, whether if the world can sustain it or not, there will be a need for housing. And this is not about real estate because I'm not well versed in it at all. But I at least know that. So that's a place to start. When everybody, just pay attention to the trend, because Facebook, Twitter, whatever, is really good at pointing out trends. Whatever, it's basically like telling you not only what everyone's excited about, but what to get excited about. And that seems to be enough for people, because guess what? If you don't have your own thing, if you aren't gravitating towards something, and that's the case for most people, which is why I think trends are a thing. But if you don't gravitate towards your own thing, you don't have your own personal trend, sit back and the media will give it to you, baby. Oh, you have nothing to do on Sunday? Well, guess what? The awards. Those songs you like? Awards. People gonna get awards for that shit. And, they save a lot of the good things for Sunday because, I know they know you won't be working for the most part. Most people don't really work on Sundays. I try to. I do work on Sundays, but for myself. But they know you won't be working on Sundays. You're going to be trying to relax, in preparation for Monday. So, hey, since you're not doing nothing on Sunday, we gonna put out some of our best material so you can tune in. You almost don't even have an excuse. Tune in. But you have a choice. And I'm not going to say I'm somebody who just opposes everything that's popular. I like Game of Thrones. I like Power. I like the good shows. I like Netflix. But I don't like to follow the crowd for many reasons. I think because they just wear everything out entirely too fast, and you could I'm basically a fucking hipster with this one. But you could be really vibing with a song, and then once the masses catch on to it, it's just like, I don't want to hear this fucking song anymore. It makes me sick. I used to love you. Now you've been pimped. Now you've been tricked out. You've been turned out. All that shit. I don't want to hear it anymore. Which is, that shit happens, and it's a low-level example. So it's things like that. It's things like, and you see this a lot out of people who are kind of, you could tell they may be a little afraid to put their opinions out there, so they wait until it's a popular opinion to throw their hat into the race. Like Donald Trump. Like when it comes to mocking and making fun of Donald Trump and all that shit, he's easy pickings. He's low-hanging fruit. So, best believe a lot of you people, if it weren't popular to make fun of Donald Trump, talk shit about him, you wouldn't be doing that shit. You might have your reservations. You may have your little your opinions and things like that, but it won't make it to these online platforms for everybody to see. You'd keep it to yourself. Just like a lot of you, bagging on Obama isn't that popular, but it's a lot of you motherfuckers right now who have a lot to say about his tenure. You would argue that he didn't do much and whatever. That's besides the point. But what I'm saying is, since it's so, popular to, make fun of Donald Trump, talk shit about him, say he's racist, whatever, you're going to play on that, man. It's easy. But I mean, and I don't really give too much fucks about politics. I'll read into it. I read about it. I try to form my own political views and things like that. But when it comes down to it, because there are so many walls in between where we are as a people and where those politicians are and what could possibly be behind them, I don't even try to get too caught up in that shit. Everything seems face value when it comes to politics, really. I mean, damn. I mean, the media basically controls the politics, and it's like 6 different stations. I mean, they're pretty much all giving you the same thing. So you're not going to get too much variety. I mean, you'll find that on the internet, sure, but I mean, who do you even trust at this point? And that's the thing. Most people go to the news for their news. I mean, not me. I mean, shit. Honestly, I don't really care about news. I don't care that, who was it? It was some sports player, and they made an article about it. This sports player has a new tattoo. Oh, so the fuck what? We all get tattoos. Why is that even important? Just shit like that. Fuck was I about to say? Yeah, so just things like, oh yeah, here it is. Oh, I'm all over the place. But with Donald Trump, and I don't see him as an enemy, but with him as well as my enemies, I try to see something that I could learn from this person. I feel like we could all learn from somebody, even our enemies. And when you think about it, for someone to be your enemy, you have to think they're at least a formidable opponent. They gotta at least know how to do something, right? So even though I don't agree with everything that anybody says, I try to take the good, see how I can apply that to my very own life. Even the idea known as Donald Trump, is someone that we could learn from. And actually, the idea known as Donald Trump, I call him the idea. I'll leave that one alone. But the idea known as Donald Trump, actually, I think he's doing a very good thing for America, because no matter what you think he represents, no matter what he does represent, no matter what he doesn't represent, it's bringing out the true colors of the people around us, in our everyday lives. And what more could you ask for? Would you rather be around somebody who is secretly opposing you, who secretly doesn't like your kind, or do you want some big rowdy dumbass motherfuckers just showcasing themselves for who they really are, losing their fucking jobs and whatever, burning bridges, all types of shit? I will go with the latter. I don't care if it ruffles my feathers, if it turns me confrontational, whatever. I would prefer that over being around a bunch of motherfuckers who play nice and all that shit. And meanwhile, they fucking hate your guts. They don't have your best interest in mind. That shit on me at all. Give me big rowdy dumb motherfuckers. I'll take that. So when people had their conversations over what's popular and what's trendy, things like that, whether if you engage in it or not, or if you're privy to it, if you're known to do that, okay, just take a couple steps back and try to reassess the situation. Is this even worth my time? Is this getting me anywhere? Is this hamster wheel talk? Is there something else that I could be talking about? Is there something else that I could be doing, something better? And the more you ask yourself those type of questions, the more you'll find yourself living a more fulfilling life. Because we only have X amount of time in a day. You understand that. So you want to fill those windows with things that actually mean something to you, So, like on a day like today, I didn't go to my job. Well, because I was having troubles with the car, but I think what most people do when they're off, they just kind of relax. They may do some housework or whatever, but I think they relax, watch TV, get drunk. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But I look at that and I ask myself, do I really want that for my life? And the people who know me, they already know this answer. The answer is no. I am very much insatiable. I seem to wake up every day with like this sense of like fear, like, oh God, you're one day older and your fucking life is not where you want it to be. You better do something about it. Do something about it. Like my alarm is dramatic. Or the message that I put on the alarm. Before you hit the snooze button, remember the fear and disgust your life brings. Something like that. I couldn't exactly say what I wanted to say. So I just had to sum it up. Only 100 characters. But basically, yeah, man, I fear that I'm just going to end up being just a big. I don't really want to say this, but basically just a basic motherfucker before it's all said and done. Or my window to get the things that I really want is just going to close on me, and then that's it. Which is, I don't even know how realistic that would be. I mean, I feel like I have my whole life to go after the things that mean or that are worthwhile to me, but I don't want to get into the habit of procrastinating, and I do have a history of that, which is why I'm so goddamn hard on myself right now. Okay, bet. Um. So I mean, that's all there is to it. You have kids, so I can kind of play on this one. I know how to attack people, so I'm gonna attack you in a good way. You have kids. Do you want your kids to grow up and be basic ass motherfuckers, or work a job that you don't like? I'm taking the glasses off of this one. Working the job that you don't like, go home, do nothing in your spare time. I mean, because they're in school right now. Do you want them to just go to school, come home, and just experiment with themselves in the backside? But no, just come home, be raised by the television, not put a dent into this world, and do that shit for 12 years or so, and then graduate high school and get thrown into the working world. You don't want that shit. So why would you take that on? You know? So yeah, I mean, yeah, work a 9 to 5. Okay, that's okay. And if you don't like it, you work to get yourself out of it. You implement plans. You know, so when you get home, you might be tired. If you can't push through it, take a nap. If you can't take a nap, and push through it. But regardless, you got to capitalize on all your time. You got a break at work. Don't spend that break to talk about work with coworkers. Hey, I gotta go somewhere. I mean, shit. Go to the goddamn car, Starbucks. Start writing and shit. So, put together your plan. So for me, I was speaking on, okay, I didn't go to work today, but I told myself, because I don't have my daughter this weekend. Not like I see her on the weekends or anything, but she's gone for the weekend. And I told myself, like, man, if you waste this perfectly good ass weekend, bro, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. I really talk to myself like that, like, don't waste this perfectly fine weekend. Starting with today, bro. Please don't piss it away. Please, dog. Because you have to show the universe. You gotta show the universe that you are serious. Serious enough to tell your best friends, look, man, I ain't going out tonight. I am working. I'm doing something for my goddamn self. If you don't like it, fuck it. You can always find somebody who want to laze around. Me, I can't afford myself that leisure. I'm betting on myself. And now there are people involved with this shit. I got a goddamn child, and her mom, as well as her, they're in on this now. If I let myself down, really over the next, I'll say 4 years, I got about a 4 year window for this particular mission, then I let them down. You know, flat out. I don't care what you guys say about this. I opted out of getting my daughter vaccinated. I don't give a fuck what people say. I think I know enough where we'll be fine. Not just because I believe in Jesus Christ or anything like that. If you do, that's fine. But not just because of that, and not just because, oh, I just have faith. No, I know I have practical ways to ensure that my child has a strong immune system. And also I have the will to attack any opposing force. And I don't try to hold it off for tomorrow. At least when it comes to mine. When it comes to my kid. So I'm betting on myself. You know? Because I'm trying to make some things shake so she won't necessarily have to go to public schools or schools in general. Schools in general. But, you know, she won't have to go to public schools. Let's just start there. And, trying to get her to go the homeschool route. Because if she has to go to public schools, they're gonna be like, oh, shit. She hasn't had a single shot. Now she's going to have to get all of them. And, man, honestly, wouldn't know what to do with myself. I felt like a failure many times in my life. But I think I would feel like the biggest failure at that point. Now my daughter got to get all these shots so she can go to public school. That's like a double loss. I feel like triple, quintuple loss in that bitch. So I'm betting on myself. You know? And I am not trying to pick on anybody because, man, Americans are some hard-working ass motherfuckers. Are we privileged? Hell yeah. But, I mean, y'all some hard-working motherfuckers. You work so hard. Though, I mean, I understand. You want to relax, so you go home and relax. You know, you want to spend time with your kids and all that. And, you know, it becomes very hard to parent them when you're so tired and they got all the energy in the world and they don't know about this real world shit. You know, they just want to play. They just want to make noise, let loose, be free. Something I think we all should do. Something I think that we all really want to do. We just kind of kill it off year by year by choosing to do things that we don't want to do. You know, alarm clocks. Alarm clocks aren't natural, but we have them to wake us up at a specific time. So we can be on somebody's specific time, man. That's the life that we choose. And if we don't like it, we gotta find our way out. So I understand that it is hard. But so is everything else worth attaining. So, as you know, I'm reading this book on Huey Newton. And maybe I have a little advantage because I'm black. But I really sit and ponder at times, and I think, wow, if a slave can make it through this, you know, if Mandela can make it through that, Huey Newton can make it through this, man. I think I could do something. I think I could shake a little something. You know? And I got all the resources. I have some know-how. You know, as far as IQ goes, if it matters, I'm probably above average. Probably. I need to then make all of my strengths work together. And I think I should, and also work on my weaknesses. My biggest weakness is probably is procrastinating. They say it's a sign of genius, but really, I hope that I dumb myself down so, I can kind of break that habit. But procrastinating, and when I'm on, I'm on. So I mean, I can't state this enough. It's kind of the one thing that I rest my head on, and I'm proud of it, is that I have a lot of material, a lot of written material in many forms, songs, poetry, nonfiction, and I'm trying to work on fiction, but I got to get this nonfiction out. It's a weight. It's a huge weight on me. So, but I say all that to say that, you know, if I can find, thoroughly, completely do away with the procrastination aspect of my life, then I think I'm completely serviceable to see my dreams come to fruition. So again, whatever's popular, you question it. You know, as you would question a random ad that pops up on Facebook or whatever. Question what the news is talking about. Question what your friends are talking about. Don't just take anybody's word for it. Even if you don't really care too much. Don't just take somebody's word for it. Always be a little skeptical. People may not like you for that, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Bad advice gets passed around all the time. You know, we got a lot of fucking drug addicts because they didn't look into the long-term effects, the short-term effects. Hey, my fucking friend's doing it. I'm with it. He looks fine. Alright, but fuck that shit.